Okay guys, in today's video we are going to learn about genders, géneros in Spanish, okay? We already learned about the articles, artículos determinados e indeterminados. So in today's video we're going to continue with that, but it will be about the genders and some rules, okay? So now let's get started with the video. Guys, so now we are going to start with this video and we are going to talk about géneros. We are going to talk about the artículos determinados e indeterminados. Okay, if you haven't watched those videos, you can go to my channel and watch both videos. Okay, so now let's get started. For the first rule, in order to know if a word is masculine or feminine, we have this. When a word ends with an O, it will be a masculine word, and when the word ends with a it will be a feminine word. That will be most of the cases. So now let's go into see some examples. Okay guys, so now I have all these words. If you notice, all these words ends with an O. So they will be all of these words are masculine words. You can use all the articles that you can see. Like for example, for the first one, el libro, un libro, los libros, unos libros. It will be the same for all of these words. So now I'm going to pronounce all of them just to know how to pronounce them, okay? Libro, teléfono, sombrero, techo, barco, zapato, espejo, edificio. Perfect. Now let's continue with the next one. Okay, now we have feminine words. If you notice, all these words ends with an A. Okay, and we can also use all these articles for these words. It will be because these are feminine words. For example, the first one, la máquina, una máquina, las máquinas, and unas máquinas. Okay? Perfect. Now I'm going to pronounce all of them. Computadora, computadora, cama, puerta, playa, manzana, mesa, maleta. Perfect, guys. So now let's continue with the next rule. Okay, as I told you, there are some exceptions. In this case, we are going to see that in some cases, a masculine word can end with a letter A, and a feminine word ends with an O at the end. Let's go into see some examples. Okay, for the first one, we have the masculine words. If you notice, all of these words ends with an A, and even if they ends with the letter A, these words are masculine, so we can use all these articles like el, un, los, and unos. For example, the first one, el idioma, un idioma, los idiomas, unos idiomas. Okay? Now let's continue. Día, tema, clima, problema, programa, mapa, diploma. Okay? Perfect. So now let's continue with the feminine words. If you notice, in this case, we have some words that ends with O. In this case, for example, the first one, fotografía, motocicleta, and discoteca ends with an A. But you probably will be listening people that, for example, for fotografía, they only said photo. It's the short way for fotografía. Also moto for motocicleta. Disco for discoteca. Okay, in this case, as you know, the full word ends with an A, like a feminine, but if you only said photo, this one ends with an O, that even though it would be a feminine word, okay? Photo, moto, disco, radio, and mano, okay? All of these words are feminine words. So now let's continue with the next rule. Okay guys, so now it will be different. We have a different rule. In some cases, we have words that ends with e and also with a consonant. In this case, it can be a masculine or a feminine word. So we are going to see some example. For example, for masculine words, it will be el café, un café, los cafés, unos cafés. Okay? Now let's continue with the next one. Baile, porque, sorry, parque, restaurante, cine. If you notice, all these words ends with an E, and now we have lápiz and hotel. These two words ends with a consonant. For this case, there is no rule. I mean, you will have to memorize when a word ends with a or a consonant if it's a masculine or a feminine word. But now you have all of these examples and you know that all these words are masculine. Now I'm going to show you some words that ends in consonant and the letter E and are feminine. For example, gente, serie, like a TV show, clase, leche, calle, flor, and luz. If you notice, in the same rule, they have a at the end and also a consonant, but these words are feminine, okay? Okay, so now let's continue with the next example. Okay, guys, in this case, we have this. We have when a word ends with, when a word is idioma or días de la semana or nombres de los colores, it will be masculine. And if we are talking about letras, it will be feminine. Okay, let's see some examples. For the first one, los idiomas. In this case, we have el inglés, el español, el francés, el ruso, el japonés. If you notice, we only have el, the article el, because if we said un inglés, that would mean like a person, right? For example, un español, a person who lives in Spain. It doesn't have it. It has a different meaning, okay? But if we are talking about the language, el idioma, it will be el. It will be like el idioma inglés, el idioma español, but instead of saying idioma, we only said el idioma, el inglés, el español, el francés. Perfect. Now let's going to see the next one. It will be días de la semana. I have all the days in here. Well, I forgot Saturday and Sunday, but it will be the same. In this case, we can use all these articles, el, un, los, unos. For example, el lunes, un lunes o un martes, los martes, unos martes, ¿ok? For example, unos martes no voy a estar presentándome. For example, miércoles, jueves y viernes. Okay? Perfect. And now let's go into see nombres de los colores. Okay, in this case we have the colors, some of them, but all the colors are going to be masculine, but we are talking about the color. If you're talking about something like an object is the color, an object color, it will be different, but we are talking about the color. For example, it will be like el color verde, el color amarillo. It will be the same like the languages, los idiomas, but instead of saying el color verde, we are going to say el verde, or un color verde, it will be un verde. Los colores verdes, it will be los verdes, or unos verdes. Okay, perfect. El amarillo, el rojo, el morado, el magenta. Perfect. Okay, guys, in this case, we have some examples when, as I told you, the colors are going to be masculine, but in this case, you see unas zapatillas rojas. And rojas is feminine. It's because we are talking about the zapatillas, not the color, not a physical color, okay? We are talking about the color of something. In this case, it will be zapatillas, and zapatillas is a feminine word. That's why we use unas zapatillas rojas. Okay, the same example for the next one, una camisa negra. The color negro is in this case feminine, is negra, because we are talking about the camisa, and camisa is a feminine word. una camisa negra. Okay? And now, guys, we're going to see the last one. For feminine, it will be letras. In this case, all the letters are going to be feminine. Like, for example, la A, la B, la C, la D, la E. Okay? And you can use all these articles. La, una, las, unas. Perfect. So now let's continue with the next rule. Okay, guys, so now we are going to talk about animals. In this case, we have the gender. It will be macho for masculine and hembra for feminine. We have some examples in here. For example, in some cases, it will be the same word, and if you are talking about a masculine and a feminine, the only difference is going to be the letter at the end. Most of the cases. For example, gato for masculine ends with an O. Gata ends with an A. Pato, pata, perro, perra, león, leona. In this case, we don't change the O because this one ends with a consonant, so we only add the letter A. And also we also have some animals, name of animals that the word in feminine has a different word. For example, caballo for masculine, for feminine is not caballa, it will be yegua, yegua. The same for toro, vaca, gallo, gallina. Okay? Perfect. And also, guys, there are some exceptions like this over here. You can see that in these cases it doesn't have a change. These words doesn't have a change. It will be the same for masculine and feminine. For example, the word hippopotamo. Hippopotamo is like a masculine word, so it will be el hipopótamo. And in order to difference if it's a masculine or feminine, it will be el hipopótamo macho or el hipopótamo hembra. But you can probably listen some people that says la hipopótamo hembra or la hipopótama, and that would be okay. It's no problem. But for the other three, it would be different. For example, la ballena. It's a feminine word. La ballena. You are not going to listen people that says el balleno. No, that's incorrect. It will be la ballena macho or la ballena hembra. The same for jirafa and tortuga. Hipopótamo, ballena, la jirafa macho, la jirafa hembra, la tortuga macho, la tortuga hembra, or just la tortuga. Okay, let's continue with the next one. Now, guys, we have some professions. In this case, we are going to talk about las profesiones. We also have the same rule like the animals. We only change we only add the letter A at the end. Like, for example, profesor, profesora. In this case, also it's going to be different for actor. The feminine way would be actriz, actriz. Let's continue. Contador, contadora, ingeniero, ingeniera. If you notice, we only change the last O for an A. Or in the case that ends with a consonant, we only add the letter A. The next one, abogado, abogada, jefe, jefa. In this case, we only change the letter E for the A, for feminine, okay? That would be most of the cases. But also we have some exceptions, like the next one, estudiante, estudiante. If you notice, if the same doesn't have a change, and the only way that we can verify if it's masculine or feminine, it will be because of the sex of the person. For example, for masculine, el estudiante, or for feminine, la estudiante, okay? The same for the next one, cantante, cantante, el policía, la policía, el piloto, la piloto. Perfect. So now let's continue with the next rule. Okay, we have in this case masculine words, some rules. When a word ends with age, or the second one, an, en, in, on, un, the third one, are, next one, ate, ete, ote, rule number 5, es, and the last one, miento, when a word ends with this, all of this, it will be a masculine word, most of the cases. Now let's going to see some examples. Okay, let's going to start with this one, montaje. If you notice, this word ends with an aje, so it will be el montaje. Next one, el equipaje, el imán, el sartén, el violín, el corazón, el atún. If you notice, the vowel has a, in Spanish it would be acento on the vowel. So that would be the rule, okay? Perfect. Now let's going to see the next one. Ar, lugar. Now we have the next word, the rule number 4, ends with ate, ete, ote. Chocolate, cachete, elote. The next one, arnés. A vowel with a consonant, with a apóstrofe, con una tilde, podríamos decir en español, y la letra S, arnés. And the last rule, miento, estacionamiento. Okay, perfect. So these are some rules in order to differentiate if a word is masculine or feminine. Now we're going to see the next rule. Okay guys, so in this case we have feminine words. When a word ends with dad, tad, ed, sion, son, or death, it will be a feminine word. Of course, there are exceptions, but in most of the cases it will be a feminine word. And if you want to know how to pronounce sion with C and with S, it will be the same pronunciation, okay? The same. Now let's see some examples. Okay, let's get started for the first one. Libertad. Libertad is the second one. It ends with T-A-D. Tad, libertad. It will be la libertad. The same for the next one. La mitad. Next one, entidad, ends with D-A-D. Dad. Entidad. Verdad. Next one, pared. Next one, la organización. Organización. Acción. Razón. Okay, in this case, it will be some exceptions. When, for example, corazón, if you see it has the same rule that a masculine word ends with an O and an N. The vowel has una tilde, un acento en la O, so it will be masculine words. As I told you, there are some cases that it will be an exception. In this case, razón is feminine and corazón is masculine. Let's continue. Admisión, decisión, comezón, hinchazón, delgadez, delicadez. Okay guys? Perfect. So now these are all the rules in order to verify if a word it will be a feminine. It will be feminine. And you have to use the feminine articles, okay? Perfect. Okay guys, so now this has been all for today. I hope you enjoyed the video. So now you know how to use all the articles, and also I know that there are some exceptions, but now with all this vocabulary you already know that which word it will be masculine and which word it will be feminine. Okay, so now this has been all for today. I hope you enjoyed the video, and if you like it, please give it a thumbs up, and see you in the next video.